What is going on, guys? This is Miasin. So if you've been following my channel as of lately, you would know that I'm looking very forward to Phantom Nightmare because of what that one card, you know, the Link 3 Fire Monster, Promethean Princess, the Bestower Flame, something like that. And it's extremely good support for every fire deck out there. I've already made some combo videos on in that card in Infernoid, but now I still have to showcase that card in action in Salamangreat and Fire King. So today I will, of course, be showing you guys some combos with that card in this deck as well as the deck profile. And I will also be showing you guys some combo sequences to play around or through the Nibiru, because that is the only one hand trap that is extremely good against Salamangreat. But of course, you already know it. Before this video starts, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. And now let's jump right into combo number 1. Alright, so now that we are about to get Promethean Princess in the TCG, what can you do with Salamangreat Circle, just a one-card combo? Well, you can actually do quite a lot, and by the way, we're going to get Promethean Princess in February 9th, so stop asking. Anyways, you're going to be searching the fire, and then normal summon it, search the Gazelle. You know, obviously it's always the same thing, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, and then you're gonna search the Sanctuary and send the Spinny, revive back, go into the Mirage Stalio, that's like the MX Saber Invoker for Salamangreat, go for the Weasel. Of course, you could also go for the Jaguar, but with the Weasel is a little better, especially when we get Promethean Princess, because there is a very neat and cute interaction with this card and Promethean Princess because of the wording very specifically on the card. I will explain that in details, but that is the reason why Weasel is now much better than Jaguar, more often than not. Anyways, link off it to Veilings, and then Sunlight Wolf recycle back the Gazelle, and then you relink the Sunlight Wolf, and yes, this is very interesting because you guys are used to hold the Sanctuary relink for the Raging Phoenix, but again, things are about to change. Well, you do that when you have the Circle. If you don't have the Circle, there is no reason to relink the Sunlight Wolf, because at this point there would be no spells or traps in your graveyard. But yeah, again, if you start with a Circle instead of just hard drawing the Salamangreat to fire, this is what you do. Anyways, now we go into the Promethean Princess, revive back any fire, it doesn't matter. And this is where it gets extremely interesting. So we're link summoning the Raging Phoenix. We already had to use our relink on the Sunlight Wolf in order to get back that Salamangreat Circle. So did we misplay? The answer is absolutely not, because we can actually do something cute here. We go for the Weasel, we give back the Spinny to our opponent, and then since a monster was special summoned to our opponent's field, we can use the Promethean Princess, destroy a special summon monster on our opponent's field as well as a monster on our field. And if you do destroy them, and if you do special summon this card, this is very interesting because, again, the wording on Promethean Princess is very shocking. The card doesn't read if your opponent special summons a monster. It says if a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field. So you can summon yourself a monster to your opponent's field and trigger the Promethean Princess. This is legal. On top of that, you don't necessarily have to destroy the two monsters in order to revive back the Promethean Princess. It tries to resolve as much as possible, so you can protect your own Raging Phoenix with the Veilings, and that way, even if your monster doesn't die but your opponent's monster dies, Promethean Princess is still revived, and now you have a Link 3 and a Link 4, so you can link off for another Link 4, and then you go for the Raging Phoenix. That way, you search your deck for any of the trap cards, and just like that, we were able to get a draw, a recycle back of the Circle, a search, and the recursion of Gazelle, all of that with one single card, and on top of that we have Promethean Princess in our graveyard. So yeah, with one single card you can now get double interruptions as well as a lot of resources in your hand, which is infinitely better than what the deck could do before, because again, this is a one card combo, so you have 4 other cards in your hand, meaning that at this point, if I set my 2 cards, I have 6 cards overall in my hand. That is pretty crazy, because those other cards, they could be hand traps, they could be extenders so that you can make it a bigger board or play around hand traps. It is honestly really cracked. But yeah, at this point, as you can see, I'm going Promethean Princess, destroy, and then I can also trigger the Raging Phoenix, revive back at the other Raging Phoenix, and then it has 5,600 attack, and I can still use that Salamangreat War, so that's really freaking awesome. But yeah, that's it for combo number 1, very simple, and you know, there's nothing, you know, extraordinary about this because it's just a one-card combo, but it gets very interesting with combo number 2. Alrighty, so I've said that this deck can now play around or through Nibiru, and I wasn't kidding, because with this combination of 3 cards, for example, there is obviously a lot of variations. Without having to play any bricks or doing anything stupid, you can actually you know, navigate through a Nibiru as well as, you know, making a, you know, a solid board. I mean, it depends on the circumstances, and it also depends, on what people are choosing to do against this deck. But yeah, on the draw phase, of course, Salamangreat Circle always do that to mitigate the impact of Jewel and Logbird. And then normal summon the Foxy. Don't use the effect of Foxy. I can't believe this card has an on-field effect. It's more of like a trap because you never want to do it. The graveyard effect of Foxy is much better. But yeah, of course, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, go for the Gazelle, and then at this point, the Gazelle should send one of the traps, either the Rage or the Roar. It's kind of up to you, but I mean, yeah, it's really up to... It also depends on the other cards that you have in your hand, but if you have like a Floodgate, for example, like Goes in Match or Rivalry, you might want to go for the Roar because now you can make sure that that Floodgate goes through. Or if you have like nothing else, I guess the Rage is usually better, but again, it depends. At this point, the relink of the Sunlight Wolf will be summon number 5, so if your opponent wants to Nibiru you here, and you can go for the Roar, at least you're getting the Roar, and then you get Nibiru'd, and you cannot recycle back the Circle. But one thing that you could do is you get back the Circle, and then you set it, and then you proceed to end phase, and you get Nibiru'd. So again, even if you do not get Nibiru'd, you at least have one interruption. But if you do get Nibiru'd, you will have a massive, huge smile on your face because you win the game, actually. This is the best thing that could happen for you because now you go for Foxy, discard the Spinny, revive back the Spinny, go for the Mirage Stallion, and then summon the Salamangreat of Fire in order to search the Weasel from your deck to your hand, and then go for the Veiling, special summon the Weasel, link off into whatever, doesn't matter, and then into Promethean Princess because we cannot link off right away since it requires 2+ effect monsters, and the Nibiru token has to be linked for something generic first. And it cannot be Sunlight Wolf or something else. I mean, yeah, Lina is pretty... Hita is pretty much the only option. Yeah, Promethean Princess, revive back the Sunlight Wolf, and then link off for the Raging Phoenix. Sunlight Wolf recycle back, and the Weasel will trigger, revive back the Spinny to our opponent's field. And then we're going to be getting a recursion of the Sunlight Wolf, as well as a draw with the Weasel. And now we're going to be triggering the Promethean Princess, destroy our own Sunlight Wolf and the Nibiru, and then revive it back, and link off again for the Raging Phoenix, and search our deck for the second trap card. And our end board is actually much better, so the Nibiru literally helped us out because we were able to bait it very early, but again, if our opponent was to not Nibiru us, then we still pass on one interruption and a decent enough follow-up, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, you have to apply judgment when you do these kinds of decisions because you also have to be aware of, you know, what kind of player your opponent is. Is he gonna, like, take the bait and Nibiru you when you say end of main phase? Because more often than not, when people have Nibiru, their mentality is just, oh, okay, I might as well. He's about to go into end phase anyway, so I might as well because I don't know what he has in the hand. And if they don't know the Salamangreat deck, then they might actually think that that's all that you have. But yeah, it is not the only thing that you can do, of course, because you can still keep pushing as long as you have that Foxy in the grave and a Spinny in your hand. So this is actually really cool to look at, you know, the fact that we were able to make such a big board, and the Nibiru was absolutely pointless. Anyways, now let's get into combo number 3. Alrighty, so what is the best end board that you can put up turn 1, assuming that you don't have to be afraid of Nibiru or something? And the answer is a lot of interruptions, actually, as well as a lot of recursion, and I mean a lot. So on the draw phase again, Salamangreat Circle. When I show Salamangreat Circle, what I really mean to say is any way of accessing Salamangreat of Fire. So this could be the Salamangreat of Fire or Silent Mining, or even like Gazelle plus like Spinny could probably work at this point. It really doesn't even matter that much. But yeah, I mean, now you normal summon the Salamangreat of Fire, you Surge the Gazelle, so it's... You see, like, literally every path leads to Rome, so who cares? Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, and then Surge the Field Spell. I love hard drawing this card. I was actually planning on playing Terraforming with Metaverse, and I'm just kidding. But yeah, anyways, Foolish the Roar or the Rage, and then revive back the Spinny, go for the Mirage Stallion. The reason why I like dumping the Roar first is because I get to reset it back, so even if I get nibbed on the Sunlight Wolf, summon number 5, at least I get it back, and then I might be able to, like, summon one more Link monster and at least, like, have, like, an Omni Negate, but you don't necessarily have to do that again. Anyways, go for the second Sunlight Wolf for the Relink, get it back to the Roar, and then go for the Veilings, recycle back the other Sunlight Wolf, not the Gazelle. You want, like, all these monsters to stay in the graveyard because we're trying to go Will of the Salamangreat to revive back 4 monsters. By the way, everything that I'm showing you is a one-card combo, usually, but the other 2 cards, like the Whale and the Spinny, the only difference is that they make me end on the 2 traps. But if I did not have these 2 cards, then I would just not have the 2 traps, that's it. But I would still have the rest of the board. Anyways, Promethean Princess, revive back the Sunlight Wolf, and then, of course, do the exact same trick as I've shown a few times before. So yeah, Promethean Princess, revive, and then go for the Raging Phoenix that you're hard relinking, which is nuts. And then revive back 4 freaking monsters because apparently that's fair. And this is where it gets extremely interesting. So now that you're reviving back 4 monsters, but you are locked under fire only, what is the best thing that you can do? And I thought about it a lot, and the best play is actually to link off into a sprint. And what are you going to be sending with the sprint? It cannot be a guarded, it has to be a real card, and the best card is EMP Gremmeowd. So this card has a really neat graveyard effect, and it reads, if a Link 2 monster you control is sent to the grave or banished face up, you can banish this card from your grave or hand, then target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So in other words, it is an interruption if your Link 2 dies. It doesn't have to die by our opponent's card effect. It can like be sent to the graveyard as a Link material, or we can destroy it ourselves, and it still triggers the EMP to bounce back a card on our opponent's field. And then we can go for either another Mirage Talio or for the Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Ring 3. And we could recycle back Gazelle, for example. But if you don't want to play that card, then just make the Mirage Talio and you're fine. And then you set your 2 Chaps in the Salamangreat Circle, so that's a very simple combo. Again, if you only have Salamangreat of Fire, you still end on everything that you see here, except for these 2 Chaps, that's it. But you still have a draw, the sprint, and the Mirage Talio. You just really have to pick what you want. Anyways, on our opponent's turn, we are going to have 5 interruptions in total because we have a bounce with the sprint. Since our opponent is summoning a monster, we can detach a material and then bounce back. We can omni-negate anything we want, so that's not too bad. And then we can destroy a bunch of cards with a Rage, which is also not too bad. And then even if our opponent can keep playing, it doesn't matter too much because we have a wide variety of resources at our disposal to make sure that our opponent cannot full combo. So yeah, summon that Visa Starfrost? Nah, not really. I mean, I can actually just destroy one of your monsters and then trigger the EMP, bounce back the Visa Starfrost, revive back the Raging Phoenix, gain a lot of attack, and we actually have a lot of board pressure on the field as well, on top of having follow-up and a card in our hand, and I mean 2 other cards in our hand. Of course, this is a 3 quote-unquote card combo, which is basically either hard drawing, or drawing Salamangreat of Fire with the 2 Chaps, or with Whale and Spinny. Again, there's just so many variations, that's why I showed it that way, but it could have been the 2 Chaps, or it could have been no Chaps, and then we make this whole board, but without the Chaps. Anyways, that's it for the combos. Now let's get into the deck profile. Alrighty, so for the Salamangreat deck profile that I am bringing you guys, I am playing quite a lot of hand shops, so 3 Nibiru, 3 Ash, of course, Ash is the best hand shop in this deck because it is the only hand shop that you can recycle back with a Satellite Wolf, so there's an inherent synergy. And then Veiler and Imperm, they kind of do the same thing, but I mean, almost every card here is interchangeable, like Nibiru or Joel, you just, or Veiler, you just replace with whatever hand shop is more appropriate for the format. So sometimes it might be Joel, sometimes it might be DD Chrome, or something else, I don't even know. But yeah, 12 hand shops, or you can play 15, because I'm also playing more non-engine cards, like Triple Tactic Talents and Call by the Grave. None of these cards are needed, honestly, so you can actually just play like Book of Moon even, or Book of Eclipse, or anything you want. You have the space for 15 flex spots, and then the rest has to be dedicated to engine cards. That is the simplest way of, just looking at a Salamangreat deck. Yeah, I'm trying to like split the deck in logical components so that it's very easy for you guys to just understand what I'm trying to do. But yeah, I mean, it's honestly really simple. Like, there's nothing complicated about this deck, but the extra deck, is where it gets really complicated, and I don't have enough playtesting experience with this deck, so it's kind of all over the place. But yeah, for the 1-card starters, I'm playing 12, so it goes without saying. 3 Salamangreat of Fire, 3 Gazelle, 3 Silent Mining, 3 Circle. If you go for Silent Mining, make sure you never surge the Salamangreat of Fire, but rather the Gazelle, otherwise that plays into Droll. And then if you have the Circle, then you always use it on draw phase to search for the Fire. And the Gazelle is not like it's not really a full 1-card combo on its own, but at least it gets you to something, so it's not too bad. And then for the other Salamangreat monsters, Foxy, it's a really good normal summon, honestly. It's a good card to dump. And then the Spinny, it's a great card to discard because in your hand, I mean, if you discard it off of the Foxy, it's much better than if you have to discard it to make your monster gain 500 attack and then do nothing else with it. But with the graveyard effect is where it's at. And then 2 Jaguar, the Weasel, and finally the other monster in my deck is the EMP Gremmeowd. This card will be your friend at getting rid of the floodgates that usually beat this deck. So this card's not too bad. You can out skill drain even if you don't have Foxy. This card's overall insane, and it is searchable by Silent Mining as well. And it is a level 2 monster, so it is dumpable off of Sprite Sprint. Again, I showed the combos very recently. And then for the final card, Salamangreat Sanctuary, Double Whale, and Rage and Roar. So yeah, for the extra deck now, Sprint, SPL Knight, I mean, I'm playing only like 6, I think, non-Salamangreat monsters. So yeah, these two, Phoenix, obviously it's a fire monster, so yeah, you need to play it. And then Hita, obviously, no shit, Promethean Princess, obviously, and then Access Code, I mean, yeah, I don't know if you even need it, honestly, at this point, because it is kind of hard to summon, and I'm not playing Heat Leo. So there is a world in which you might consider dropping SP and Access Code to play like double Heat Leo or something like that. Maybe cut the second Mirage Talio. I don't even think you need it that much. You could actually play like a DOTK package, a Midnight Early with the Proxy F Magician and Violet Chimera. But it is 3 cards in your extra deck for a play that still loses to Nibiru. And obviously, honestly, it's not going to come up too often, so I don't even know if it's worth it. Yeah, anyways, double Mirage Talio, which again, I'm kind of iffy about. And then 2 Raging Phoenix, triple Sunlight Wolf, maybe 2 is enough, I don't know yet. And then 2 Veilings, maybe 3 is better. So yeah, if you guys are better than me at Salamangreat, which is most likely the case because I'm not super great with this deck. I'm only really good at figuring out like combos, but that's it. Let me know some feedback that you may have for this extra deck at least, and also for the main deck. And for the idea section, you can play the Falco if you want to, but it's a little slow. It was more appropriate in the 2019 format. Now it's just like, okay, yeah, you're resetting back a trap card for next turn. Big deal. Buffalo, I don't know, like you could play it, but like the better normal summon is Salamangreat of Fire. Desires, if you want to, you can play Desires over Talents and stuff like that for just more consistency. You don't really want to banish your 1-ofs, but like you're playing so many 3-ofs, and also Gazelle and Circle are 3 now, so it's fine. But you might have to play more trap cards, like maybe a second Roar or second Rage if you want to play Desires, just for safety measures. And then Baguskia Dweller, it's hard to summon them if you're not playing Falco because you're gonna have less level 4 monsters. But yeah, the Fire Fist Link 3 that Link 2, Exceeds rank 3, Jesus, that I talked about before. It's not too bad, it basically has a very similar effect as Sunlight Wolf. And then Transcode, Update Jammer, Deco Tucker Heat Soul, which is ironically impossible to summon in this deck because you need 2+ Cyber Monsters, different attributes. So even though it's a fire, you always need a non-fire to make it. So it's so annoying. I hate summoning this card, it's so awkward. It also really doesn't feel natural at all in Salamangreat. If you're going for Heat Soul, you're always deviating like away from your typical combo sequence, which makes no sense. Combo package to kill your opponent, and then Splash Mage, whatever, goes in Match Rivalry. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.